Investments Limited actually has a beginning in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
We bought these units near Harvard, brick building, very nice. Marta helped me actually, for $10,000 a unit. It was $300,000 for 30 units. And we worked really hard and fixed them up and put a sales office in.
When our college mates were partying and going out, I was in the basements, freezing in Boston, cleaning basements, fixing electrical and plumbing.
And we sold them for about $28,000 as condominiums after about a year and a half of pretty hard work. But as I look back, those $28,000 units are now worth about $1 million each. So I kind of said, I think buy and hold is a great idea. I think buying the 30 units was a turning point, and I think when I came to Florida, the Royal Palm was a turning point.
It was 1983. It was a very sought-after property because it was the very first luxury upscale shopping center built in 1964. There were a few very nice stores, but it was, I believe, 60% vacant.
Nobody wanted the property. It was 60-70% vacant. They had black visqueen on the windows. There was mold inside, and it was just dead.
It was in horrible shape. Infrastructure was horrible. Roofs were falling. Our intentions were to keep mainly the way it was, just making alterations and bringing it back to its former life.
I bought it, and I started peeling off the visqueen.
I don't think I've ever worked as hard as I did at that center. Every morning I would wake up, walk the 15 acres, cleaning cigarette butts, picking up soda cans.
And we said, what are we going to do to bring life back into this shopping center? If it played music and it served food and it had alcohol in it, we brought it into that shopping center.
And within literally months, we had 98% occupancy. So everything is management and hard work. We accomplished the mission, and now I can't even find a parking space, which is what we wanted to see, and I'm excited what we did over the years. Come Join the Family goes back to our original philosophy to start the business.
We are a mom and pop company on steroids. We've just grown exponentially over the past 30 years at a crazy rate.
We're no longer small business, but we've kept that same philosophy. So
we want you to succeed. Look, we're not Santa Claus. I have my bills to pay. You've got your bills to pay. But when you're having difficulties, your partner deserted you, you got sick, you need financing. We have all kinds of vehicles to help them with money. Let us help you.
We go out at nights, for example, at restaurants that we know are not doing that well. We go around, drive around to give them ideas why their next door is doing well and they're not.
And we literally sit down. We have now 4 account managers. We bring them up to see me. We have 2 marketing people. It's all free. We do everything we can to help our tenants. We have them meet each other. We do a lot of gift cards. I think it's a great marketing device. They take a gift card for $100 to Chops Lobster Bar. They walk in, they've never been to Chops Lobster Bar, they're new in town. The average check is $350, and they would never have gone there without that $100 card. Plus they have to leave a tip. So Chops they've made 4 times on their money and a tip, and they got a new customer, number 3. And number 4, it didn't cost Chops anything. I pay for it. So we do that with a lot of our tenants.
365 North A1A, just north of Palmetto Park Road. Well, it was originally just another property we were buying.
And my son says, Dad, look at this location. I mean, A1A, the ocean, this is irreplaceable. We got to make this really nice.
So I said, hey, rather than us running it like a cheap motel or another apartment building, let's make this into a boutique. Something special, somewhere you can come with the family, bring your kids.
It's going to be something that the Boca Raton residents did not have before. They can come here for 2 weeks or 2 months. They can send their family here. They don't have to have them cramp into their second bedroom. They can have their own apartment to live in.
We have kitchens, washer dryers I put in. We're gonna be fully furnished with forks, knives, paved plates. You can cook, full kitchen. The property's laid out very nicely. You know, you could just come right off the beach. There's a little pool area, patio, beautiful grill, barbecue grill. And it's kind of like a private condominium rather than a hotel.
It really improves the landscape of Boca Raton. I was just over there this morning. The rooms are getting there. They're starting to put furniture in.
I was trying to imitate something like a South Beach theme. Clean, and that spells boutique. White, silver, with a little teal. And I didn't want to overdo it. So we basically simplified the design and gave it a nice clean look. So this is something special. I'm very excited about it.
My role at Investments Limited is the regional manager for all the residential properties in Boca and Del Rey. Your home is your haven. It's the one place you can always go and feel safe. And if someone tells me, it says, hey, you know what, maybe we can upgrade this light fixture here. Maybe why don't we put in a higher quality sink? Whatever the thing is, we are very receptive to feedback. And because we are as big as we are, we can spend money to improve our product because we are investing in our own properties. And this kind of goes hand in hand with what our goal is. It's not just to provide you a roof over your head, it's to give you a little bit of that warm and fuzzy feeling. And where you really feel like, hey, you know what, I'm comfortable here and I like it here. And I want to continue living here for a long time, and I want to tell my friends too. They absolutely notice the difference with, you know, when we address them by first name when they come in. They're like, oh, you know me? Or they call and they say, I'm so-and-so, and I'm like, oh yeah, you live in this apartment. And they're like, oh yeah, how'd you know that? I think people can see the passion that resonates from me with what I do and how I talk about what we do as a company. You know, I always tell people, you're not just renting an apartment from us, you're renting a relationship with us as well.
When we met each other in early 70s, we said we have to get into business. We have to make money only if we can become charitable.
I remember 20 or 25 years ago when we were at some charity event, and you know, it was a black tie dinner for $200 or something, but then they passed the hat around, and you know, you're expected to give a check for $1,000 for something. And I'll tell you, my hand was shaking writing that check, because you know, my whole life up to that point had been earn, work, try to get the money in, got to make the thing bigger, got to make it more successful, I got to pay the bills, got to grow it. The next day I realized it was a real pleasure to do that, because I was helping somebody that was more in need than I am. And God has blessed that first giving millions and millions of times over, that I'm so grateful for.
We worked so we could give it back.
But I think the motto that we talked about was, you know, it's okay to do good in business as long as you use that good in business to do good for humanity.
Garden of Humanity was something we wanted to do many years before its present location. Our ancestors were Armenians. Our ancestors were subjected to the first genocide of the century in 1915, and it set stage for other genocides, including the Holocaust and Bosnia and everywhere else. There has been 150 plus races exterminated since the Armenian genocide. So I heard stories from my grandma, and we became very conscious about human rights. It's not just an Armenian thing, the theme is universal.
But it's, you know, the idea is to remember it and to point it out when it happens. So when it starts to incubate, a country starts to go in that direction, or a political system, that we stop it and we stamp it out. We don't let it continue.
And Yakov Heller, who's a well-known sculptor, came up with a statue that we could put at the center, and we started it in 2015, which was the 100th anniversary. It's a beautiful garden, very inspirational. I see the school children come, the classes come to read the inscriptions about humanity, being good to each other. There are inscriptions from every race, creed, creatures, prominence, presidents.
And so there's a lot of countries there that are in that memorial in Royal Palm, if you visit and you go around, and a lot of good sayings, because we want to educate people as to what's going on.
The four sides of the monument at the center depicts one aspect of, one is education, one is deportations and the Holocaust, I guess, overall genocides. The other side is children holding hands, uniting, and the fourth side is a dove of peace. It teaches the young generation how to love, care, and view each other as human beings, regardless of race, color, creed, or orientation.
You wouldn't think that rich old Boca Raton has a hood, but we have a hood. And I just stayed away from it. I mean, I'm not going to go in there with the rich white guy with my big red car and say, "Hi kids, I'm here at Dixie Manor. You're going to throw rocks at me." So I stayed away from it until about 22 years ago, and I had a vision at church telling me that I needed to go there and I needed to make a difference. So Monday morning I went there, got to talk to the director, started knocking on doors, getting to meet everybody, and we invited everybody that following Monday to come to a community meeting at Dixie Manor. So we brought tons of food, we brought games, we brought books, we brought counseling, we brought music, and we made it a fun time, but it was also a change your lifetime. Like, okay, you lady, you're living there with 4 kids, you never finished high school. Would you like to get a GED? Would you like to go be a nail tech? Would you like to go to hairdressing school? Would you like to go to plumbing school, electric school? We'll pay for it. We'll make it happen. You want to go to college? You want to start? What would you like to do? So it started out like, let's help the people in the community through advice, counseling, and education and mentoring, because there are no fathers, and the parents forget about it. Who do they have? They have nobody. All they had was us. And then we said, well, what about these poor kids? You know, they're from age 8 to 18. They get out of school at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They're hungry. They look for trouble. The drug dealers look for them. 2 or 3 years later, they have their first stint in jail. So we said, look, we got to get them out of here. So we started the Propel program, more formally. We pick them up, we take them to our study center, and we give them lots of food, fun. We tutor them. We get their grades up from C's to A's. We do their college admission applications, and we get them accepted to college, and we give them a 4-year scholarship. So instead of sending them off to jail, we send them off to college. So I believe that this Propel is a game changer for the country. We have now opened up our 6th chapter. You know, my dream is to have, 100 more. And boy, there's no other organization that I know of that's going right into the hood, right into the worst crime, the worst areas of our country, that are inviting these kids to come out and make a change in their life and get mentored and tutored, but make it fun though, because they're kids. Changing Lives was actually formulated with a notice that I saw in the church bulletin at First United Methodist Church some 7 years ago. And they basically said, hey, if you'd like to help people in need and homeless people, call this number, Ann. So I called Ann, and we got together, and we had some regular meetings, and we saw how we could help poor people, how we could help the population, work on different aspects. Of course, it started out with food and clothes and their mental issues and so forth. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, I said, what are we doing here? What is the meaning of what we're doing? And we're making people's lives different than what they were. We're not just giving them a fish or giving them a piece of clothing or giving them some advice. We're trying to do the whole dynamic and change their life. I said, changing lives, let's call it that. And I want to tell you that God has blessed us unbelievably with people that have come out of the woodwork and said, how can I help? They show up at our meetings. I got doctors, lawyers, candlestick makers, therapists. Everything is free. It's all volunteer, donated, or, we come up with the money. The other thing we did is we said, they're still on the street. They want to get clean and sober, but it's difficult when you're on the street. Where are they going to go tonight? Where are they sleeping tonight? So now we have 3 sober houses and a detox center that I own. I have 387 units of affordable housing that we've used poor people, veterans, and homeless people to renovate the motel units, create them in micro apartments where they live, and now we're able to provide housing for poor people. So we're doing God's work. I love doing it. I want to expand it all over the country, and I want to do as much as I can before I leave this earth.
I hope we will be remembered as people who came here not just to start a business, not just to live here, but to have a home, raise a family, and make the community a better place. Now we're getting old, and I'm seeing all the newcomers, and what they're doing is amazing. We have so many dedicated people that I really am not worried about the future. I know our legacy will be carried by many others in a better shape and form.
So come join the family.